What's this? A different universe? Yes, Gundam! Let's start with my namesake. My favorite mobile suit ever. The EMS-10 Zudah. Around 5 years before the start of the One-Year War, the Principality of Zeon sent out tenders to multiple engineering firms to create a next-generation mobile weapon that will be used by the Zeon military in the upcoming war. At least 4 companies accepted the contract, 2 unknown ones, Zeonic and Zemat, though I think one of the unknown companies could be MIP. There is no information on what the other 2 companies offered. Zeonic would offer the YMS-05A Zaku-1, while Zemat would offer the EMS-04 Zudah. During the trials, the Zudah would completely outperform the Zaku-1. The Jupiter engine that the Zudah was equipped with gave the suit superior speed and acceleration over the Zaku. Zemat was in favor of winning the contract until a fatal flaw was discovered. Now, we don't really know whether this is like an inherent design flaw or Zeonic did some good old-fashioned corporate sabotage as claimed by Jean-Luc Duval. The guy is a Zemat test pilot, so I would say take his word with a grain of salt, as they say, huh? But anyway, the Jupiter engine, if overexerted for long periods of time, would spontaneously combust, destroying the suit and killing the pilot. The revelation of this would immediately swing the favor towards Zeonic, and the Zaku-1 would immediately be selected as the main mobile suit for the armed forces of Zeon, and around 2 years later, the Zaku-2 would be developed and accepted into service. Towards the latter half of the One-Year War, the Zudah would be seen again, this time with a new EMS-10 designation. Zemat claimed that the suit was equipped with the newest Saturn engine that is used by Zemat's more successful series, the Rigdom series. The speed of the suit with this new engine has been described to be as fast as a missile, and missiles are pretty damn fast, so imagine piloting this thing. Speaking of piloting, 2 characters, Wolfgang and Duval, have stated that this suit can only be piloted by the best of the best. I'm not entirely sure if that's a good thing or not, but it's cool, so it doesn't matter. But anyway, some additional systems were installed as well, like the movable shield on the left arm that also comes with deployable spikes. Its arm also gained the ability to extend itself, mainly to reach for weapons located on new hard points on its legs. Probably useful for melee as well. That extra reach could mean life or death. You never know. But unfortunately, the 10 series is nothing but a redressed 4 series. The engine was still prone to exploding when overexerted. The suit was brought out mainly for propaganda purposes only. The war on Earth was slowly falling apart, so Zeon had the Zudah be used to create propaganda films to divert public attention away from Earth and also to trick and scare EF forces with a new superior mobile suit. They didn't even tell the unit that was in charge of it of their actual mission. The 603rd Experimental Group was told that they would be in charge of field testing the suit, completely oblivious to their actual purpose. That's not to say that the suit wasn't deployed in combat. There is at least one proper deployment for the Zudah in the One-Year War. Lieutenant Commander Wolfgang was given one to conduct orbital patrols with. The other deployments of the suit were usually last-minute and desperate decisions made in hopeless situations like the Battle of Abao-Ku. Post-war, the suit did see some combat in the Dallas Fleet Crisis. Another engineering team unit, I guess, similar to the Igloo crew, had 3 Zudahs that they used to protect the colony that they jacked. There's also the Zudah F, which is an improved version of the Zudah that uses parts from the Gion. They installed 2 extra thrusters with an external fuel tank and finally got around the engine problem so it won't blow up anymore, but was still never put into mass production. Like all Zeon suits, it's got that good old-fashioned mono-eye thing going on there. The 10 series has got this nasal shield to protect it like the Zaku-1, while the original 4 series has a big opening similar to the Dom series. You know, I never understood why they got rid of it. I mean, yeah, it can kind of block view in a way, but if you play F1 games in first-person mode or any other racing game that has like open-wheel cars with like the halo, your brain kind of just deletes that middle part of that halo bit there. I don't know if this effect works, like, for camera. Then again, the eye doesn't really need to be dead center anyway to look ahead. So, with how big the the visor is, I think a guard in the middle would, help a bit. But then again, armor doesn't really work in this universe unless it's Luna Titanium. Anyway, unlike the Zaku though, its overall design is a lot busier, I guess. There are a lot more lines going on compared to the smooth, rounded Zaku. These rods here are the extended arm length, I guess. Or at least it is for this model kit. You can press down on them and the arm will get longer. I'm not entirely sure if that's how it works in universe, but it probably does. On the inside of the shield, you can put 2 Sturmfauses, one here and one here. Though in this model kit, you only get 1. And on the outside are these 2 spikes that you can deploy. There is a Zudah that carried a knuckle shield instead of this shield here in the 0083 Rebellion manga. I can only assume that the original shoulder shield of that specific unit got destroyed or something and they just replaced it with something similar, no shield with some spikes on it. The torso looks similar to the Zaku, but the limbs, especially the legs, are noticeably a lot more skinnier. The thrusters are also exposed, whereas the Zakus are more flushed with the body lines. At the back is where the main thing is at. The Jupiter engine on the 4 series has like an extra bit at the top there. I'm not sure what it is, but I kind of like it. The Zudah F, on the other hand, has an external fuel tank and 2 extra thrusters installed at the back. The Zudah can basically use any weapon that's not a beam-based weapon. Its main standard armaments are the same as the Zaku line. It includes the 120mm Zaku machine gun, the MMP-80 90mm machine gun, and the 280mm Zaku bazooka. It's got 2 unique weapons though, something that, at least I've never seen it, on any other mobile suit. The first one being the 135mm anti-ship rifle. This gigantic rifle, as the name implies, is used to shoot down ships from far distances. You can probably shoot down suits with it if you're a good shot. And, I could probably even punch through Luna Titanium just from the sheer size of it, sheer mass of being hit by this. I guess the sheer force, power of force, whatever it is that you got, the word is. There's the sheer power from this thing. You can probably one-shot a Gundam if it hits dead center or something. The other one is the smaller 95mm anti-ship gun that is used by the Zudah F. Lighter, smaller version, probably faster rate of fire, more ammo as well. But this one, I probably won't be able to punch through Luna Titanium. It's a big gun, yeah, but it's only slightly bigger than the MFP-80. But it is an anti-ship gun, so it probably has a lot of velocity in it. So who knows? Maybe it can still punch through. Maybe it'll take a couple more hits to punch through Luna Titanium. But if we can hit him multiple times, I think we can probably punch through the armor. For melee, it comes with a standard heat hawk and shield spikes. Previously mentioned one. They use that when they charge usually, because it's not really that spiky. It's kind of blunt at the end, so you need like a big force behind it. Anyway, inside the shield, as mentioned before, you can put 1 or 2 Sturmfauses inside. There was a Zudah in the 0083 manga though that used the 680mm Zamla cannon. But I don't know if he actually like shot it or he just like aimed it. Maybe it did shoot it, but I couldn't really tell. I don't remember. Like every other suit out there, the Zudah has its own bunch of aces or renowned pilots. First, we have the 6th or 3rd crew. Monique Cadillac, Hideto Washiya, some random dude, and Zimad's poster boy himself, Jean-Luc Duval. Duval was the company's test pilot before he was assigned to the 6th or 3rd for the secret propaganda mission. He knew about the Zudah's grenade engine, but did not disclose that at all with any other pilots on that mission. And because of that one random dude blew up. The F Federation caught wind of this incident, which apparently was told to them by Zionic. Zionic leaked this footage to them. Anyway, the EF made a show of it in Earth public media, which turned the Zudah and Duval himself into a laughingstock. Later on, when Zeon retreated from Earth, Duval, Hideto, and Cadillac sorted to cover and save as many of the defenseless dropships floating in orbit as possible. During this engagement, 6 new Federation gyms came in. Duval rushed in and immediately killed one with the 120mm machine gun and then spiked another. He then led the remaining 4 on a chase around Earth orbit. Monique went after them and shot down a gym that had engine issues. The remaining 3 chased Duval before they themselves blew up from their own engine failure. Seeing that the Zudah caused the destruction of 5 new gyms, Duval looked back, smiling, feeling that he redeemed the suit and himself, and with the sun rising over the horizon, his Zudah started tearing itself apart before it too blew up. This scene makes me tear every time. I'm not kidding. I'm being serious, and every time I watch this scene, my eyes start tearing up. Someone on YouTube, he put like the theme of Igloo, Sora no Tamoto, over that scene or the entire section, and it's just mwah. Later on, during the final battle of the war at Abaku, the remaining 2 Zudahs of the 6th or 3rd were launched again. Their first sortie was to escort their mothership, the Jotunheim, and punch through a Federation fleet to deploy the Argo mobile pods behind the Federation ships. This mission was a success without a single Zudah loss. While they were recovering from their victory, the 6th or 3rd realized that the battle was lost as friendly fleets were beginning to retreat from the asteroid. A rearguard element was quickly formed to cover their retreat. Cadillac would join them in her Zudah, while Hideto would stay behind to escort the Jotunheim. While fighting though, Cadillac's suit would suffer damage and lose an arm, but ultimately would survive the battle. We don't see her piloting anymore for this, so I can only assume that her suit would be probably used for spare parts for the remaining Zudah they have, the Hideto Zudah. Speaking of Hideto, 3 years later, during the Dallas fleet crisis, he would still be piloting his Zudah, but he would not be involved in any combat situations. Next up, we have Lieutenant Commander Wolfgang, or the Hunter of Black Clothes. Wolfgang at first piloted a Black Zaku 2 until an incident involving a civilian ship. While fighting a gym, a civilian craft would wander into the battle zone. The gym would move behind the ship and use it as cover. Wolfgang momentarily froze when he saw this, and that gave the gym enough time to shoot. He was hit and accidentally pulled the trigger on his flight stick. The civilian craft was hit and was destroyed, and the last thing he saw before blacking out was a little girl screaming, an image that would haunt him for the rest of his life. After recovering, Wolfgang would return to his old posting, this time with an EMS-10 Zudah. At first deployment, Wolfgang managed to single-handedly destroy Salamis-class cruiser. In his next and final deployment though, Wolfgang would encounter a damaged Chivay cruiser floating in Earth orbit. He and a Zaku would go out to investigate it, only to find out that the ship is crewed by Federation forces. The Zaku was immediately destroyed by a gym coming out of the hangar bay. A fight ensued between Wolfgang and 3 gyms. While that was happening, the damaged cruiser would get in a fight with Wolfgang's own Musai cruiser. The Chivay received critical damage when the Musai launched its shuttle as a battering ram. This sent the Chivay into a death spiral towards Earth. Back to the main fight, the 3 gyms charged at Wolfgang. The gyms were a new model with better armor, so Wolfgang's 120mm machine gun didn't do anything to them. He shot a stern thrust at one and managed to take out its left arm. Another one was taken out when Wolfgang threw a drum magazine behind it and shot the drum, causing a huge explosion that took the gym out. The third one was taken out in a melee fight. Wolfgang managed to disarm the gym and threw his Heat Hawk straight into the center torso of the gym. Turning his attention to the final gym, it turned out that the pilot of that gym was the same one from the civilian craft incident. The gym would go on to do the same thing again, this time using Wolfgang's cruiser as hostage. A cruiser that has his girlfriend in it. Wolfgang looked to give up at first, letting go of his machine gun, only to deploy his shield spikes and spike the gym. The pilot survived and got out of his cockpit. The moment he got out, he faced a giant gun barrel pointing towards him. He surrendered, stating that as prisoner of war, he would need to be treated well. Wolfgang, upon hearing this, immediately mag-dumped him. Just before they could leave the area, the Chivay cruiser, the one from before that's on the death spiral towards Earth, contacted Wolfgang. The one remaining officer says that the cruiser will crash to a town in Ireland. Wolfgang didn't care at first, telling him to just sound an evacuation order to the town. The officer then says that the ship is packed full of high explosives, and even with an evacuation order, the entire area would be flattened. The Chivay was originally supposed to be used as a fire ship, blowing up at the Xeon-controlled city of Granada. The officer would blow the explosive himself, but the detonation system was damaged during the fight with the Bonsai. Hearing all this, Wolfgang got reminded of the little girl from before and did not want that to happen again if he could help it. This town that the ship was heading for, there'd be a lot more little kids that would die because of his, well, not really his action, but you know, he can influence what's gonna happen. And so he did. He turned to his girlfriend, said his final goodbye, and went full speed into the Chevette cruiser, blowing it up in orbit. Down on Earth, kids happily watched the bright light in the night sky, thinking they were fireworks. I think there's another pilot for the Zudah F, but I don't know who they are or what they did. The model that the Zudah F is in is not in English. It's never been translated, so I don't know what the story is about at all. I can't even find it anywhere. Even if I want to try to self-translate it myself, but like Google Translate, whatever. But yeah, novel, I've never seen it. I never read it. I can't even find it. But anyway, the EMS-10 Zudah. I swear to God, this suit was made for tragedies only. Like, honestly, every time there's a Zudah, it blows up. In a blaze of glory. I'm not kidding. But yeah, my favorite suit ever. It's so cool. It just looks cool. The first time I watched it, when I saw this thing, I was like, what is that? That is the coolest suit I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, honestly, I like it. I really do like it. Especially the 135mm gun. It's so cool. I wish in GBO, though, you can use that gun and also machine gun as backup, but you can't. In GBO 2, it's either the rocket, the bazooka, right? Or the machine gun, or the rifle. It's hard to use the rifle. It does a lot of damage, but it's so hard to aim that thing. It's so slow. If you get rushed, you're kind of screwed, really. The suit's like whole history is based on the Heinkel HU-110 fighter before and during World War II. So yeah, that's my first jump into a different universe. So that's quite exciting, you know? Who knows when the next one will be and what I will cover. I always say that because I actually don't know. I decide on the go what I want to do. But yeah, that's been that. Zudah. Again, favorite suit. I love it. It's beautiful. Story behind it is tragic, sad, but I still love it. Anyway, I got Discord if you want to join in and chat with me, you know, off screen, whatever. It's quite a quiet Discord lately, actually. I don't talk a lot, which is unfortunate. But that's just me. I also got Twitch, you know, but I do multi-stream, and I do when I stream, you know, there's a feed, there's a live feed that goes here. But again, I would say that Twitch is my main one, I guess. If you want to support me via streaming, that's where I would prefer you to be. But I mean, it's up to you. It's up to you, really. But yeah, other than that, take care, really. Take care, everybody, and I'll see you guys next time.